Hello, and welcome once again to Movies That Pop. I'm the Kernel. Let's see what popped up in theaters this week. Oh man, okay. This year's Oscar Derby has officially begun with Hacksaw Ridge, one of the year's best films. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's just no way that Mel Gibson wins another Oscar after some of the things he's said and done. And to those of you, I have just two words. Roman Polanski. If you don't get the reference, just Google him. I'll wait, this is gonna be fun. Okay, are you back? Great, now let's talk about an incredible film hitting theaters this weekend from the man who directed Braveheart. You know, what's his name? Hacksaw Ridge tells the story of Desmond Doss, the first conscientious objector to win the Medal of Honor for his actions at the Battle of Okinawa in World War II. Played by Andrew Garfield with a quiet confidence that most actors would struggle with, Doss is a religious man with a violent family history who has made a promise to God that he'll never touch a gun. After committing an early act of heroism, he ends up walking the halls of a hospital where the love of his life, a nurse played by the lovely Teresa Palmer, catches his eye. Afterward, and while courting her, he decides to enlist in the army as a medic, with the hope that he can save lives instead of taking them. The problem is, even medics in the army must undergo weapons training and carry weapons into battle, and that is something that he steadfastly refuses to do on principle. And thus begins, for Doss, the war before the war, as he fights his peers, his superiors, and even a court-martial for his right to serve his country in war without taking lives. A quest that sees him take on the perception that he is weak, cowardly, or simply naive. I mean, he did volunteer after all. What did he think was gonna happen? But in the end, it's impossible not to be moved greatly by this man's story of bravery and noble service to his country. And what an extraordinarily well-told story it is, too. I've seen some criticisms that describe this as a film that praises pacifism while at the same time glamorizing violence, and I couldn't disagree more. The battle scenes here are visceral and graphic and brutal. War is indeed hell, people, and as depicted here, it's absolutely horrific. And even with copious bloodletting and stylized slow motion and editing, there is nothing glamorous about the violence on display here. In no way did it make me want to pick up a gun and get into this battle, the way that a Rambo or Commando movie from the 80s would. Instead, I wanted to run home and cry to mama. These battles are shot and edited in such a way as to accurately convey the chaos of battle, while never actually confusing the audience watching it. And that, dear film lovers, is extremely complicated and difficult to do. Mel Gibson, on the other hand, the director of Braveheart, makes it look easy. And the sight of the scrawny, noble Doss running right into the thick of incredible danger, armed with nothing but his wits and his passion, will vault your heart right into your throat. As powerful as those battle scenes are, the movie wisely is in no real rush to get there and tells its story, the real story, the one about bravery and nobility and the power of faith, with perfect pace and modulation. For example, there isn't much time to tell the love story between Doss and his wife, so it's remarkable that it's told well enough in such a small amount of time to really make you feel her presence on the battlefield and long for them to be reunited. Hugo Weaving as Doss's drunken war veteran father takes what could have been a one-note caricature and makes the role absolutely sing. Vince Vaughn and Sam Worthington give career best performances as the army brass who do their best to make a man out of the skinny vegetarian pacifist. And all of these characters I mentioned, they're given enough depth to really humanize the story. You completely understand where everyone is coming from and why they feel how they feel. No one here is villainized or simplified. You completely get where they're coming from. Here's how great the writing and directing are. You remember this guy, not Keanu from last year's insipid Point Break remake? Well, his name is Luke Bracey, and he's earned the right to be called by name now because he is absolutely fantastic here as one of Doss's fellow privates who tries to bully him out of the army for, some pretty valid and understandable reasons. I award Hacksaw Ridge an easy, extra-large bag of popcorn. With incredible cinematography and a big, sweeping score both on the battlefield and off, this is a perfect example of pure, emotional cinema. This movie shook me, inspired me, made me well up with tears, ball up in fear, and basically left me a quivering mass on the floor when the credits started to roll. Coincidentally opening a week before Veterans Day here in the United States, Hacksaw Ridge is a film primed to restore your faith in humanity, your country, and in the Lord God Almighty. Hacksaw Ridge, I salute you. That does it for this edition of Movies That Pop. Don't forget to follow me, the Kernel, on Twitter, @MoviesThatPop. Click the icon right down there to visit our channel if you'd like to see more, and support us by clicking subscribe while you're there, and by clicking the thumbs up icon below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on Hacksaw Ridge in the comments as well. Sound off like you got a pair. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'm the Kernel, and please, Lord, let me just get one more.